A boy was thrown across the room by something no one could see. He screamed that a man with hooves and burnt, peeling skin was watching him at night. His family said his voice would change, deepen, growl, even when he was silent. Witnesses described him speaking in Latin, though he could barely read English. Welcome to residual fear, where the shadows are never quite empty and the past never truly stays buried. In 1981, in a quiet corner of Connecticut, USA, a murder shocked the nation, not because of the violence, but because of the defense. The devil made me do it. This isn't folklore. This isn't a horror film. This is one of the most chilling and controversial cases of demonic possession ever recorded. In the summer of 1980, the Glatzel family of Brookfield, Connecticut, moved into a new home, a quiet rental. On Old Hollyville Road, they believed it was a fresh start, but what followed would haunt them for decades. David Glatzel was 11 years old, a shy, kind-hearted boy. He didn't like attention. He wasn't known for acting out. But within days of visiting the new home, David began to change. He said a strange old man was following him around the property. A man with dark eyes and a big black animal tail. He saw him outside windows, hiding behind trees. Then, inside the house. At first, his family assumed it was just childish fear. But David grew terrified to sleep. His room would shake. Scratches appeared on the door. His bedsheets were tossed off during the night by unseen hands. Then came the voices. David told his parents. He heard whispers, threats, that the old man wanted his soul, that he was coming soon, and not alone. Soon, David's behavior shifted drastically. He began speaking in deep, gravelly voices. He lashed out, threw objects. His body convulsed in ways no doctor could explain. He would enter a trance-like state and speak in perfect Latin. His mother, Judy, witnessed one of his fits and said, "His face wasn't his own. I couldn't recognize my son." They turned to doctors, psychiatrists, priests. No one could help. Desperate, they reached out to the only people they believed could help. Ed and Lorraine Warren. The Warrens arrived at the Glatzel home in late 1980. They brought with them decades of experience dealing with demonic hauntings, the Perrin family, Amityville, Annabelle. But this case disturbed even them. Lorraine, a clairvoyant, said she sensed a dark, non-human force in the home the moment she entered. Ed called it one of the most dangerous cases we ever faced. They claimed David wasn't just being tormented. He was possessed by multiple entities. One of them claimed to be a demon who had never walked the earth in human form. During their investigation, the Warrens documented David levitating off his bed, speaking in overlapping demonic voices, describing murders he couldn't possibly know about. tearing rosary beads apart with his bare hands, attempting to gouge out his own eyes while laughing. The family held multiple exorcism sessions, some in secret, with help from local clergy. According to the Warrens, 43 demons were cast out, but one refused to leave. During one violent episode, David screamed, "He's hiding! You can't cast him out! He lives in the silence!" Arnie Johnson, Debbie's fiancé, was present at many of the exorcisms. He was skeptical at first, but then he saw things that defied belief. Objects flying across rooms, David speaking in fluent Latin and Italian, growling noises from the walls, apparitions in mirrors. Eventually, Arnie challenged the demon. "Take me instead," he yelled. "Come into me." Everyone in the room heard him, and something did. The next day, Ed Warren warned him, "You just made a terrible mistake. It's listening now." Months passed. David slowly recovered, but Arnie changed. Debbie said he would go silent for hours. Sometimes she'd find him staring into nothing, unblinking. He started seeing shadows in the woods. Growling sounds followed him to work. He began having violent dreams. Blood, knives, eyes staring through walls. Then it happened. February 16th, 1981. Brookfield, Connecticut. Arnie Johnson was working near the kennel his fiancée managed. That day, they had lunch with Alan Bono, the landlord. Bono was drunk and increasingly aggressive. An argument broke out. Bono grabbed Debbie. That's when Arnie stepped in, but something shifted. Witnesses said his eyes went dark, his face went blank. He growled, pulled out a pocket knife, and stabbed Bono 5 times, mostly in the chest and stomach. Bono died at the scene. When police arrived, Arnie appeared dazed. He said he didn't remember the attack, but when questioned, he uttered one chilling line. "It wasn't me." Arnie Johnson's arrest became a national sensation because for the first time in U.S. history, his lawyer entered a plea not guilty by reason of demonic possession. The court refused. "There's no legal precedent for demonic possession," they said. "It cannot be proven scientifically." The case shifted to manslaughter. The Warrens were heavily involved in the press. They warned the public about dabbling in the occult. They provided their notes and recordings. But it wasn't enough. Arnie was found guilty of first-degree manslaughter and sentenced to 10 to 20 years. He served only 5. To this day, he claims he was not in control of his body. Debbie, who later married Arnie, stands by his story. The Glatzel family tried to move on, but the scars ran deep. David, now an adult, has stayed out of the public eye. His brother, Carl Glatzel Jr., later sued the Warrens and the author of The Devil in Connecticut. He claimed the story was exaggerated or even fabricated, but Lorraine Warren stood by every word until her death in 2019. She claimed to have over 100 hours of recordings, many of which have never been released. Several priests who attended the rituals refused to speak about what they saw. And what about the house? The home on Old Hawleyville Road has changed owners many times. Locals say strange things still happen there. Lights flickering, whispers, doors that lock themselves. But no one stays long. The line between possession and madness is razor thin. Skeptics say David was mentally ill, that Arne used the supernatural as a trick. But those who were there, who saw the things no one could explain, they never looked at the world the same way again. This wasn't a horror film. This was a courtroom. And the devil was listed among the witnesses. One tape, unreleased to the public, captures a whisper, "I have what I want now." You opened the door. You said the words. You gave me permission. And maybe that's all it takes. A single invitation. A single crack in your belief. A single night. When you say, "Take me instead." This is residual fear. And in Brookfield, the shadows never left.